Magellan's crew spent almost 3 years at sea, sailing all the way around the world. Why did that happen? Let's find out! Picture a time before airplanes, maps, and cell phones. Most people never saw what was beyond their own street, let alone another country. But some people felt a pull, like a secret calling, to find out what was waiting in the wide, wild world. These people were called explorers. They set out like real-life adventurers, ready to face the unknown and discover what was out there. Maps back then looked a lot different than they do today. Huge blank spaces covered the paper, almost like missing pieces from a giant puzzle. People wondered what lay in those empty spots. Some folks whispered stories about mountains made of gold or lands filled with spices and strange animals nobody had ever seen. Explorers felt a spark inside when they heard these tales. They wanted to find new places to trade, but sometimes they searched just to see what was really out there. Imagine looking at a map and realizing most of the world was still a mystery. So, who were some of these brave explorers? What incredible adventures did they have? Christopher Columbus set out with 3 wooden ships, each as long as 5 school buses lined up. He wanted to reach Asia by sailing west, but he ended up stumbling into a whole new land, the Americas. That was a surprise that changed history. Ferdinand Magellan's crew did something even wilder. They left home and kept sailing until they circled the whole globe. Those sailors missed their families for almost 3 years. Some days, they went so long without fresh food that they had to eat tough old biscuits and even sawdust. Marco Polo started his journey way before that, traveling from Italy all the way to China. Imagine crossing deserts and mountains for years, then coming home with wild stories about fireworks, noodles, and giant animals nobody back home had seen. In America, Lewis and Clark walked and paddled across rivers and forests, mapping new places as they went. They never could have done it without Sacagawea. She was a Native American woman who showed them safe trails and helped them meet new people along the way. Of course, these adventures were full of challenges. Let's see what dangers explorers faced and how they found their way. Ships back then were like spaceships on the ocean, taking explorers into places nobody from their world had ever seen. Giant waves could toss a ship around like a toy, and storms sometimes lasted for days. Sometimes there was barely enough food or water to share. Finding the way across endless water wasn't easy. Explorers watched the stars and used simple compasses, but the real secret was teamwork. Local people often helped them survive. Sacagawea showed Lewis and Clark safe trails, and in other lands, guides and new friends shared what they knew. Here's the cool part: without help from people they met, many explorers wouldn't have made it home. So what did all these adventures really change about our world? Explorers proved our world holds more surprises than anyone ever guessed. Their journey showed us new places and helped everyone understand how people live in different lands. Thanks to these brave travelers, maps changed and neighbors felt a little closer. From wild oceans to strange new lands, explorers faced the unknown and brought back stories that changed history. Adventure is everywhere if you stay curious. See you next time for another adventure.